All right then, we're back on this totally tense uh, post voting day uh, day. We're back, and I hope you're all doing well. Um, I have tons of high stellar. I have a ton of leftover Halloween candy because not that many people came and trick or treated at our house, and I've been kind of stress eating Halloween candy. So pretty soon I won't fit on the screen anymore. And we'll have to come up with some other arrangement. Yesterday, when we were talking, Sissy had a great plan. She wanted to see this turn into a tavern where our hero was hanging out watching her merry band of adventurers, who is us apparently out here in the audience, and down here the mysterious object that I've drawn to say what is this? Something goes in this space. Um, the mysterious object should be the severed head of a dragon because she's just that much of a badass. I like the plan. So this is what we're doing. Um, this is the story. Not that I'm writing a story, but it's kind of cool to have a story. Um, and so, because she's an experienced dragon slayer, she cut the head off well down the neck. You want to do that when you kill a dragon because otherwise it makes a really stupid looking trophy hanging on the wall if there's no neck attached to it. You see a lot of fantasy art where the great big barbarian with spikes on his shoulders. That's how you know he's not very smart. He's got big spikes on his shoulders so that if he shrugs, he sticks a spike in his forehead. Um, yeah, you see a lot of fantasy art like that, and the big barbarian has cut the dragon's head off, like right behind his ear. And what are you going to do with that? You can't do anything with that. This thing, you could make a big plaque and hang that on the wall. You need to think of these things when you live in a fantasy world, like I do. Um, it's stuff that you have to know. I'm here for you. I'm here to be your guide through the other worlds. I did a little sketch of what I wanted my severed dragon head to look like. Hi, Sissy. I'm running with your plan. Um, so, yeah, I did a little preliminary sketch, and so I'm working off of that. And we'll see. I like my little sketch. Let's see if I actually replicate it. Sometimes you don't. When you just sketch something just kind of offhand, it has a spontaneity and a liveliness that sometimes you cannot get again when you go try to copy it. This is why my work, as well as many other artists whose work I admire, um, frequently looks better in sketches than it looks in like a finished oil painting. A finished oil painting is great color, great textures, great whatever, realistic skin tones or whatever, but the action looks a bit frozen. The whole scene looks a bit stilted and set up and posed, and it just doesn't look alive and moving, and it doesn't look as right now as the sketch does, and that's why. Well, it doesn't really explain why. I don't know why. It's just, but it is a thing that happens. You do a sketch, it's very lively and whatnot, and you do the painting. And it's just it's a redo of the sketch. It's just got less life to it frequently. It's a hazard. That doesn't mean it has to happen that way. It was just always going to be that way. But it's a hazard that can wind up in your path, and you have to deal with it. There's some very well-known artists. Maybe I shouldn't mention names, but there's some very well-known artists who, you know, some of the best in the world. But having seen their sketches and then comparing that to their paintings, I know that that they really have a problem with that, and I feel kind of let down because their sketches are super cool, and but also they're very successful and very busy, and they've got to crank out one illustration after another and get the job done because they're on a deadline. Um, don't have time to go back and fuss with whatever that was. Try to get it right. Back when Ronald Reagan was president, I remember somebody asking him why his movies were so bad, because he was in a lot of movies and they were all pretty dang bad. And he said they didn't want them good, they wanted them Tuesday. I actually thought that was a pretty good answer. I think a lot of illustrators are in the same boat, to be honest. Art director doesn't want it to be, some museum piece that's going to be talked about for centuries. They want it Tuesday. I want to make sure there's a wall there, and there's casting a shadow of the severed neck stump is being cast against the wall, so that I can make it clear that it's been cut off, um, without drawing a bunch of blood and gore. Because even when it's dead monsters, blood and gore, I'm not that into blood and gore. Not that into doing it. Really, I'm not into it when it's my blood and gore. Pardon my rage. I was talking about losing the spontaneity from a sketch to a painting. It can also be lost uh, from your original really scribbly sketch to a much more refined uh, sketch. One that you've really done on nice paper and worked up your shading. And sometimes just doing all the scribbling with the fine charcoal and then coming back and scribbling in the details of the dragon and everything, and then take a paper towel and wipe away the vine charcoal because it was never intended to be a permanent part of the image, and and then you lose a lot of that. You lose a lot of something that gave it motion or gave it energy, is somehow lost. So that can happen. Okay, kind of liking that. Sissy says, "I love her. I want to call dibs." Absolutely, absolutely. Um, yeah, we could trade. We could trade. Um, I wanted to ask you, like, if you were photographing this drawing, um, can you get a better, more print-worthy photograph than what I end up with and put up on my Facebook page? I mean, there's a lot of smudging and smearing and garbage on here that just can't be helped. It's on the paper, but can you improve on what I'm doing? Because if you can, that would be a service that I need. That would be something that um, any book that I make could be a more desirable product if it was really done with good photography and whatnot. And so, yeah, I know product photography is its own thing, and you're more of a portrait photographer type of person too. I'm afraid my boudoir photography days are behind me. Nobody's tried to buy that off of me in a long time. Playgirl magazine, they just don't take my calls. They just act like I'm not there. So that's pretty fun. She says, never photographed a sketch, but since I have a couple of yours, I can photograph those and show you what come up. Yeah, good. I would not count this as product photography. There's a whole different animal. I'm happy to see what I can do. All right. Yeah. See what happens. Yeah, you do have a couple of my sketches, so that's good. That's good. It's good that you have a couple of my sketches. It's good that you have something to work on. There's a lot of things that I preach and don't necessarily practice or not that well. But one of the things that I definitely am a huge believer in is do what you can with what you got. You know, if you don't have a good camera and you want to be a photographer and you got a cell phone, um, yeah, I mean, just don't tell me you want to be a photographer if you're not going around taking pictures with your cell phone, you know, because it will take pictures. And so I wanna see some pictures, you know, even though it's not the best camera in the world. And so I mostly, you know, I'm saying that in reference to myself. You know, I want to take pictures of these things and and make a book. And well, okay, I don't have a good camera. I don't have, you know, the skills to really know what I'm doing making a book, even though I've made some before. Um, that was a long series of mistakes uh, that ultimately wound up okay. I still don't consider myself to have, you know, really learned so much that, oh, I know how to make a book now. I kind of do. But anyway, what I'm getting around to is uh, my approach to the project so far has been okay. It's me. It's my cell phone. It's my very rude computer skills, Photoshop skills, etc. And we're going to put those things together and see what happens. See what we can make. as somebody pointed out, a year from now, 2 years from now, you're pretty much going to hate all the work that you're doing today. You maybe not hate it, but you're going to see all kinds of problems with it. It's not going to be perfect. You're never going to look back at something you did 2 years ago and say, "Oh, that's perfect." I haven't done anything better than that since then, or at least it would be very sad if you did. That would mean you're not growing much. Um, so, so why even let it hang you up and let it slow you down and try to make things perfect? Because no matter how perfect you make it today, you're still going to look back on it 2 years from now and go, "Oh, that's way less than perfect." And that being the case, just do the thing. It's much more important to just do it. I had somebody just this morning or yesterday, in response to something I did, they said, "Oh, I miss drawing." I don't understand. It's like, why are you missing drawing? How can you not have access to a pencil and a piece of paper? Pick up a pencil and draw something. You don't have to miss drawing. Yeah, that is true. You get critical of your work as time goes by, and you should. I mean, it is an indication of your growth. It's not I'm not saying a negative thing there. It's a very positive thing when as you keep doing something. Um, yeah, I mean, if you didn't do it for 2 years, then probably what you did 2 years ago is better than what you're doing now. But if you're doing something all along, a year or two from now, most of what you do is going to be way better than what you're doing right now at the moment, no matter what. So it should never not being good enough or something should never hold you back, because in hindsight you're going to go, "Well, I really was good enough, at the time. Wish I would have done whatever that was." People missing drawing or lacking the time. I'm sure that's true. I mean, gosh, you get an 8-hour job or something, then you come home and you got to take care of the kids or me or something like that. And that just takes all your freaking time. I try to be as low maintenance as I can because I want Stella to do whatever it is she wants to do with her life. Um, in fact, I know you won't believe me, but I actually do chores around the house. I do stuff here, so that she doesn't have to. I like this picture. I like it. I'm gonna do more over here. Make some make some food or something. Give her a basket of buffalo wings or something, and little things, but for the most part, I like it. And I'm going to photograph it, and it's going to go in the book of Gilead stuff. My book was on my mind, so when I posted a picture yesterday, I guess, I said I was going to make a book of, I explained the thing that I do, this thing that I do, where I take the life drawing and I turn it into something else, and then post them, and going to make a book with before and after shots. The the progression as it goes along. And I somehow seem to have left the entire world with the impression that it's a written book about the character that was in the picture that I posted. I'm just letting that go. I don't want to try to backtrack and go, no, 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 you've all got the wrong idea. But I'll just I'll post the link to the book whenever I get it finished, and then people can go, oh, that wasn't what I thought. I have never ever in my life been more stressed out about a an election, and I hope never ever in my life to be this stressed out about an election again. I hope I live long enough to see another one, but I don't hope to be this intensely invested in the outcome. And not only the outcome, but the aftermath. All right, all right. A lot of people feel anxious about this election. It's not just me. That's amazing. I thought nobody noticed. Yeah, yeah, and I guess a lot of states are saying just relax because we're not going to have our final number until Friday or something. So it's going to take a couple days, probably before we know. Um, Arizona's won. It's not really. It's all up in the air for Arizona. So yeah, whatever. Um, I'm gonna go eat a 2-gallon bucket of Halloween candy, and I'll see you tomorrow at 3. Thanks for coming. Bye bye.